Sometimes you hear a story and it shows you how clear-minded Das Torah feels. This is a story of the CHAZON ISH that we have to learn from. It's eye-opening. It speaks volumes. There was once an American boy learning in yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael. Unfortunately, he began to slip spiritually until he reached a point where he used to go to some not kosher places. A brother of the Bacher, who was a chashav, a younger man, came to the CHAZON ISH to ask his advice about the situation. My brother is in yeshiva here in Eretz Yisrael. He's really an American boy. He's doing these certain things. Maybe he was going certain places, not on the level that he should be. What should we do? And surprisingly, the CHAZON ISH answered, send him back to America. The younger man was shocked, and he said, but if he goes to America, it's going to be totally different. Because over here, he's in yeshiva, and he only occasionally goes to bad places here in Eretz Yisrael. But in America, with all the liberalism and the weaker kids that he's going to hang up with, he's going to be doing it on a daily basis. He's for sure going to be doing these things much more frequent if he's going to go back to America. So what would you say? Well, then you shouldn't go back to America. Listen to the CHAZON ISH Das Torah of Klal Yisrael. The CHAZON ISH replied, you're right, that he only stumbles occasionally here, but in America, it's reasonable to assume that he will stumble many more times. But I still think it's better off for him to be in America and stumble more times than to be here in Israel. Why? You ready to learn about how chachma, wisdom? The younger man couldn't understand this. The married brother, the koil guy, couldn't understand this, so the CHAZON ISH explains. The worst thing to happen to someone while they are struggling, this guy was struggling. He couldn't behave normally, so he fell a little bit. The worst thing while someone is struggling is for them to feel that they are bad and for them to get a bad reputation. Here in Eretz Yisrael, said the CHAZON ISH, 50, 60 years ago, the standard here is very black and white. So if someone misbehaves even a little bit, it's enough for him to be labeled as a bad bacher, and he's going to feel about himself, I'm already not a yeshiva bacher, I'm already bad, and it's going to be devastating to his self-esteem, to his self-worth, and in the eyes of everyone around him. And if he continues doing these bad things, which looks like he's going to, so then he's going to be labeled more and more bad, and very soon he's going to feel like a complete failure and a very bad person, and that feeling inside of him will cause him to fall much, much more and bring him to the worst depths. Said the CHAZON ISH, I want to prevent that. So I suggest that while he's struggling, he's not so such in a great place, he should go to America. And while it's true that he possibly might go to bad places more often, maybe they'll go dancing or movies, whatever he was doing, a bar, whatever, not going to be so far frumt. But listen to what he said, since there are many people doing it there, and many people in America are much weaker than in Bnei Brak and in Eretz Yisrael in those days, and there are many people that are behaving this way. So he won't be looked down upon in such a severe way, and he won't ruin his reputation or his self-esteem. And then, if he's healthier, he still has a chevra, he's not looked down, he's not on the bottom of the world, he has a chevra, even though they're not doing so great. If he has a chevra, then later on, eventually, he will understand that it's not so good for him. He'll become more mature, and he'll be able to mend his ways with full vigor. Chazei Re'ei V'chanech, page 409. What do you see from here? Incredible wisdom of the CHAZON ISH teaches us an absolutely huge, mind-blowing chiddush about human nature that is contrary to normal thinking. We're always pushing, the kid should be in the best yeshiva, the kid should be in the best environment, but we have to understand that it's better for someone to behave a little not as good, a little worse, but be with a chevra and not feel rejection, not be labeled as the bad kid, than to perhaps even behave a little bit better, but be feeling rejection and being labeled. Because making someone feel bad about themselves sucks out all of the emotional energy that they need in order to improve themselves. And it will cause much deeper long-term damage to their ability to be able to improve themselves. Whereas normalizing their behavior, so they don't feel so bad about themselves, is what actually gives them the self-esteem, and therefore, in turn, it allows them to have the emotional energy in order to eventually improve themselves when they mature. We think very important that he should know how bad it is and how dangerous it is and why you're doing this and all of that makes them crushed. They're crushed and they say, I'm already Machal Shabbos, or I'm already in the bottom of the thing, forget it, nobody's ever going to want me, destroys their self-esteem. He says it's all about self-esteem. Better he should be on a lower level and doing it with a bunch of chevra and he's smiling and he's happy, and then he'll do tshuva in the future. Isn't that amazing? It's so gutsy. It's so gutsy. He says, yeah, you're right. He probably will go to the movies more often than over here. Over here, he sneaks out to the bar, to the club once a week. Over there, he might go. But over there, he's going to feel normal, and he's still frum, he's still a yid, he's still, he still has chavra. And by us, he's going to feel like a shegitz. Who thought like that? Unbelievable. Das Torah of the CHAZON ISH.